let us consider one another in order to provoke to love and good deeds. What have we just said there in reading verse 24? We're talking about this outward faith. This outward faith. And that's what the writer's talking about here. It looks at how it can love others. You see, when I have been freed of the worry that somehow my imperfections are going to keep me out of heaven, I can be freed to love others. I can be freed to focus on others. And that's how a congregation gets full of people that are connected and loving and vulnerable and helping and hoping together and wading through life's difficulties together. Listen, God placed the love that you have for others in your heart on the day of your salvation. Romans chapter 5 and verse 5. God has poured it out. It is overflowing into abundance, to more than we could possibly need for ourselves. And the idea is that you share that with others. And here the emphasis is you draw near to God, you hold on to that confession, and you turn your faith outward. You love others deeply. And so the idea here is to keep yourself engaged in fellowship. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through considering one another. Considering one another. What does that mean? Well, that means I need to think about something carefully. It means to consider something closely or to take it seriously. It means to turn about and look at this in a reflective manner. So when I'm considering others, the idea here is that I'm taking the time to look objectively and see where the needs are so that in somehow, some way, I can meet those needs. So it's not a haphazard thing. It's not something that I think about when everything else in my life is done and I have a little bit of time left over. It is intentional. It is scheduled. It is deliberate. It is something that's applied with wisdom and discretion, and it is approached from the idea of what is in the best interests of my brother or sister. How can I help them? How can I encourage them? How can I come alongside them? Sometimes we each kind of have this flame, and it varies in intensity. And sometimes it's impacted because of what's going on in our life, or difficulties, or anxiety, or stress, or whatever it is. And my job as a fellow brother or sister is not to come up and extinguish your flame. I want to help facilitate the growth and the strength of that, to where we're both burning hotter together for the Lord. I'm looking for thoughtful ways to do that. I don't want to be somebody that extinguishes the flame or the fire of someone else. I want to stir them up to love and good works. And now listen to me, please. Your spiritual life is not about just coming to listen to preaching or engaging in worship or attending Bible class or being a part of devotional. All those things are good. They're necessary. We should not neglect those things. But what the inspired writer is calling for here is the involvement of every member in the life of every other member inside the local congregation. And the command here is to be carried out in a loving, caring relationship. And it needs to be practiced on every level of the church. Young or old, in the middle, whatever it is, single, not single, empty nest, just starting, it doesn't matter. It should be done in the midst of joy or sorrow or comfort or crisis or health or brokenness. Whatever it is, we come together as one.